Daddy. And the sheepherders now, as they continue to walk around the ring, now the Bruce brothers are making their way to the mic. There's a little psychological warfare going on before this match gets Coliseum that tonight's going to be their night. The Bruce Brothers and Sheepherders, the bell sound, the Chicago Street Fight is underway. The bell sound in this Chicago Street Fight underway between the Bruce Brothers and the Sheepherders. The Sheepherders, Luke Williams and Butch Miller, made a devastating debut last week against this same team. They're coming back, this time in Chicago Street Fight rules, which means all 4 men in the ring, dressed as they are, no disqualifications, and the Bruce Brothers are taking care of business. And this crowd here in the Coliseum love it as they chant on and encourage the Bruce Brothers to take the fight right to the Sheepherders. Mad Dog Benner looked behind him, he wasn't quick enough, and now the Sheepherders start to take over. My name is Peter Burkholz, and the referee for this match is Tommy Gilbert, but there's little the referee can do because there's no disqualification. All 4 men in the ring at the same time. It's wild, but it's conclusive, and that's what the Bruce Brothers wanted. A chance to fight the Sheepherders, and so there's absolutely no doubt on who the tougher team is. USA, USA, again starts to echo throughout the Coliseum. As the fans here, Houston wrestling fans, are trying to encourage the Bruce Brothers to come up and give a whipping to the Sheepherders. Butch Miller, Luke Williams, the controversial, the arrogant, the explosive team of the Sheepherders, and Mad Dog, his head is cut open, and now as Butch Miller looks for the opportunity, he saw his partner Luke holding Mad Dog. And this is the kind of action you've seen in a Chicago Street Fight. Very few wrestling holds and a lot of fight. So Pork Chops Cash trying to battle back. You're watching the Mad Dog as he's trying to find a way to slow down the Sheepherders. One fall to an absolute finish. And remember, all 4 men stay in the ring until there is an absolute winner. No disqualification. So the Sheepherders doing what they do best, and that's delivering punishment. Pork Chop down on his knees. You see Mad Dog down on his knees, but you're starting to see Mad Dog show some signs of fighting along with Pork Chop, and Bruce Brothers are starting to battle back. They're on their knees, now they're on their feet. Blow after blow, and now they've got the Sheepherders for the first time taking a couple steps backward. The Bruce Brothers, this is their biggest test yet. They've been running through all opposition in Mid-South, but they lost their Sheepherders last week in a controversial, well, they actually won the match on a disqualification, but they felt that they wanted to show Houston wrestling fans that they can beat the Sheepherders. They don't need a disqualification. So Pork Chop, they reverse, and Pork Chop had to Luke Williams, and we've got Pork Chops right outside next to us here on the concrete floor. And Tommy Gilbert trying to keep the Sheepherder away from him. Mad Dog working over Luke Williams, but as we see Pork Chops, he's being introduced to the ring post, and he was driven head first right at that metal ring post. And now we've got 2 Sheepherders against 1 Bruce Brother, and that is not good odds. So Pork Chops Cash is down on the floor here, and we've got the Sheepherders now throwing in Mad Dog. They're using a global in. They use their combined weight to drive it right into Mad Dog, and Mad Dog Boyd is caught in a very bad way. A double knee drop. We've got the Sheepherders on top. We've got 2, we've got 3, and the Sheepherders, they look tough. They look just as savage and explosive as their reputation, and they ruined the match, the Chicago Street Fight tonight.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, if Mad Dog Bud Sawyer loses tonight, he leaves.
got it ready to go right here and right now, except that there is a dog collar that belongs around another neck. And right now, Buzz Sawyer is not ready to permit anything to happen to that other collar except to knock Hacksaw Duggan down. So Sawyer has the chain. Sawyer has the collar. And Hacksaw Jim Duggan is watching the tantalizing moves. He doesn't want to get caught in the middle putting that collar on while his opponent is more than ready. This is a battle of wits as well as a battle of skills, a battle of violence. Sure, any sport is a violent sport because physical contact is always violent to people who don't like physical contact. But these people here in the Coliseum, they like physical contact and they anticipate it and they are ready for it. So evidently the Mad Dog started something by making it difficult to get that collar on, and he was about ready for it. Now you just keep your eyes on this one. This is something you have not seen. Now the bell sounds and the focal point is that chain to shorten the distance and to keep your opponent from gathering up enough of that chain to be able to use it on you. You hear the cry, you hear the Dugan, and you see Dugan, who believes that maybe his fist can do just as much to the Mad Dog as the chain, but now he'll try the chain. Hard to swing it, but the chain is doubled up in 2 or 4 lengths by the time he gets it, and there goes Mad Dog. And he is literally headed back in the ring, or else he's not going to go anywhere. He's asking for timeout. In a dogfight? No. Now as they maneuver around, this crowd here watches closely and they keep their eye on them. Now, there have been strap matches, there have been rope matches, there are bell rope matches in Texas. There are many, many names for battles of this kind, but the toughest of them all is the one you are watching right now, the one that takes these two fellows and puts them in with a chain wrapped around their neck. And Buzz Sawyer has been flattened on this canvas as Duggan, who is at least a hefty St. Bernard, and with that man lying there, he is taking no chances. He knows that the winds can change quickly, and now as he gets out on the floor, he is taking Buzz Sawyer right along with him. The two of them are on the floor alongside of us. They are using the barricade around the ring right now, and as Duggan grabs hold of him, he decides that the ring post would be the best place to test his head, and test it he did. Sawyer gets back in the ring. Sawyer rolls across that canvas, tries to stay away from Duggan. He tried to reach out. There's a little demonstration of the kind of strength that Sawyer is up against when he meets this rugged, stubborn, iron backbone Hacksaw Duggan. And Buzz Sawyer caught that last one as he came off of that rope. There's 1, there's 2, and there was 2.5. That was almost 3, as referee Tommy Gilbert that time was on the way down. But as Sawyer gets up to his feet, he has the chain partly in his hand, and he is able to use it almost like a glove You see him now as he tries to literally tie Hacksaw Duggan into the rope itself. Duggan now has suddenly found out how it feels to have that thing catch you alongside the jaw. And Sawyer, as he pursues him out there, doesn't mean to let Duggan get even a moment's respite out of this. He smashed him into the barricade, and that barricade is solid, hard to move, and just about hard enough to drive a guy down into it. And now the crowd trying to get Dugan chant going, and the crowd's so worried about Dugan, they're not so sure that they want to chant right now. I think some of them are sitting there just hoping and hoping and hoping that he recovers from this attack and can get up on that canvas and take after him. There is Duggan on the floor, and waiting for him down on an all-fours position up in the ring is the Mad Dog himself. And he decided to go out and do something about it. But again, he's making use of the surroundings. Sawyer looking well pleased with him. Now you hear it. Now they've decided that it's time for him to really hear a roar with his name in there. And as Duggan gets up in that ring, he is trying to recover, and he came close that time. Sawyer is trying to make him eat part of that chain. Duggan is bleeding from his hard contact with the chain and with the post and with the barricade around the ring. 5-minute mark has gone by. And it seems to me like watching the intensity of this that they've been wrestling for an hour. 5 minutes have gone by and they have taken an inordinate amount of punishment. Duggan down, and Sawyer, as he maneuvers around, looks for a place to use that chain, and Duggan lets out a bellow. He is howling at the moon, if you will, and he is taking the punishment, and now he is roused, and as he turns around to blast Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer, this tremendous Coliseum crowd goes utterly crazy, roaring their approval, and Sawyer, stretched out, laid out by that pounding clothesline. Hard to call it a clothesline when there's a chain in there being used, but that's the nature of the move, whether it's done with a clothesline or an arm or a chain. There's one, there's two, and Sawyer was just able to maneuver his way out of that predicament. Sawyer underneath, and Hacksaw pounces on top of him. Hacksaw sinks his teeth into Buzz Sawyer's ear, and as he rises up, he's got a grin on his face. Sawyer is having trouble rising. Duggan is welcoming him to the land of the standing. He wants to knock him down again. And as he rises up to his feet, there's the boxing lesson. The jab coming out there and setting him down, and he disappeared. Buzz Sawyer is coming up again. Sawyer now brought in within range. Oh! As he swings around, he comes around to lay that in there tightly, and as Sawyer is on his feet, he is being held up there by Duggan, and Duggan laid a right-hand blow, a smashing right-hand blow into the jaw of Buzz Sawyer, and he is taking all of that chain up in his bloody hand and is ready to pound it in there. There he goes, again and again, and Duggan just howled out, "He's mine, he's mine," and Sawyer made a move to get out of the predicament that he's still Duggan's. Sawyer is caught. He's wrapped up in the ropes. He's hanging on to the rope to try to avoid being pulled in, over, under, or through the ropes. The referee trying to get him into the ring, and it's the Volga Boatman song here, I'll tell you. Man is in trouble. That is a man who has a chain around that is dragging him against that steel cable in the ropes. Duggan on the outside. There is the move on the inside. And Duggan doesn't take a backward step. He's got his opponent out on the floor, and as he goes through the ropes, he just follows him along and decides that he's not going to let him go any further. Sawyer's having trouble. Sawyer's being whooped. He's being battered. Let's put it that way. And there is a cruel fall for Hacksaw's opposition. That's Buzz Sawyer. Watching that Buzz Sawyer, looking for the telltale signs. Will he be able to rise up to his feet? And Sawyer looking for timeout. And this time all he's getting is a little bit more chain and a little bit more as Duggan moves in, straightens him up, and decides he's going to do something with him. He's whirling him around and over the rope. He was whirling him around there, but I want to tell you, if he had been able to throw him out to the top rope, man down is Hacksaw Duggan. Man on top is Buzz Sawyer, and Hacksaw Duggan just got clobbered in a, of course, no disqualification match, and a match that has brought out the roughest in both of them. Well, you've got them loaded into this. Well, the contestants are loaded into the ring, and that fence around is going to keep them there, we sincerely hope. You're looking at humongous. I'll tell you, the name fits him, even though I am not quite certain what it means. But if it means a giant with plenty of power, plenty of weight, plenty of strength, and presumably very little brains, then this is humongous. Jake the Snake, a thinking man's wrestler. The first one to come up with the idea of a mask that is much along the same lines as humongous mask. Listen to these fans. Listen to this uproar of these fans. DDT. That is the famous hold that is used by Jake the Snake. And Jake the Snake with a driving knee lift comes in there to upend humongous. In a few wild moments before this match started, Humperdinck made the mistake of coming inside the area on the inside of the cage, and Jake the Snake snatched him up into the ring before Humongous could get in, and he got a few good wallops in on Lord Humperdinck himself. Humongous trying to get Jake to meet him on his own terms, and Jake is smart enough to be able to maneuver around there and to use, whoops, he scooped him up and tried his best then to drive him through the ring, and here is Jake the Snake. Jake's got his own power, aided by the fact that he knows how to apply a body slam, and that takes the place of a lot of power. Listen to that. I never in my life thought I would live long enough to have fans cheering so tremendously for a guy named Jake the Snake. But Jake is a snake only in some of the moves that he uses in that ring. He is an intelligent individual with a great grasp on the wrestling game, and he is smart enough to be able to take Humongous off his feet with a clothesline, and that's what he did just then. And outside the ring now, we have Humongous and Jake the Snake, and nobody gained anything in that exchange of maneuvers, banging against the steel fence that surrounds this ring, or the steel cage. Bad fall for Jake the Snake as he twisted as he was falling. And here is Humongous now trying to unmask him, and he has succeeded in taking the mask from the head of Jake the Snake, and he's got him in a bad spot right now. Jake, when he was on even terms with the Giant, was doing great. Now he's meeting that steel cage, and certainly not in any kind of an even basis. So Jake is down. Jake looking for the opportunity to get a moment's respite. You can see half his head hanging through that cage. You see Jake the Snake caught on the cage, and his head stuck through as Humongous, with that tremendous weight of his and that effort of his. Now it's go, Jake, go. And Jake, if he can respond to these fans, is most certainly going to win their undying gratitude. But Humongous has come in. He is able to grab hold of Jake the Snake. Jake is in a bad spot. He's got a huge man there, and he has temporarily lost his equalizer, and as the Snake moves around, the Humongous is trying to get rid of the referee. Now the exchange between Jake and Humongous is confined to them, and Humongous keeps after that split that is above the eye and just up around the hairline of the head, and he is in there with a body slam, and now Humongous comes to apply the coup de grace. He did it. He came down there with that great big leg of his, and again, as he comes down, he lands with all of that tremendous 300 pounds, and Jake is, unfortunately for his fans, taking an awful lot of punishment by catching that mask in the middle of his back. Look at the muscles on this man. not the kind of body that was developed by weightlifting. Whatever he has done away from the world of scheduled athletics. 5 minutes have gone by as Jake the Snake now fights off the cobra hold being applied to him, and he pushed against the turnbuckle. He dropped the humongous back on his head and his back, and if Jake can recover, here is an opportunity. Here come the fans with that DDT. As Jake again with that driving kick, but this time Humongous was equal to it. He's got Jake's boot, and Jake now, Jake's got his own boot, and as he comes in here, he is able to lay it in, looking for a soft spot in the back of that mask, driving away at the mask head of Humongous. DDT, he dropped him right square on his head. Oh, magnificent. Those fans know what the DDT can do. Whoa. All of a sudden, the crowd gets quiet because the Humongous is the first man they have ever seen who has gotten out of the DDT or has gotten up after it was applied to him. And with Jake hanging in the rope, we've got the referee thrown out of the line of action, and the Humongous trying to just pound away. And here is the Nightmare has just thrown a chair in there for one of his stablemates to make use of. And as they rise here, there is a kick in the belly. Jake the Snake comes in. Jake, go! Oh, he dropped him in there. Dropped him on the chair. There it is, and Jake the Snake.
All the wrestlers can enter the ring dressed as they choose and can bring anything they want to. A man can be eliminated in this match either by a pinfall or being tossed over the top rope to the floor. And the last man standing in the ring will be the winner of the bunkhouse brawl and also $25,000 in prize money.
There you have the preliminary introduction of this event. You're going to see a history-making event in Houston, Texas that night, because $25,000 is going to go to the winner of this 22-man bunkhouse battle royal. You heard the announcer explain that the wrestlers can come in dressed as they are. Whatever they wear, they're able to use in this dangerous type explosive battle royal.
Okay, ladies
one of the
and
most
gentlemen,
dangerous in professional wrestling.
This is the bunkhouse brawl. If all of the wrestlers are here, gathered around the ring, when I leave the ring and the referee signifies the bell, the match will begin.
So the ringside announcer quickly gets out of the ring in the smartest move of the night, because 22 men now are going to battle for their lives and $25,000. We'll try our best to cover the action. We'll try our best to identify all 22 stars. But as you can see, the fight has taken place. Already eliminated was Captain Redneck Dick Murdoch. It didn't take long because he's probably one of the most unpopular wrestlers in the ring, and it didn't take long for all of them to team up. Remember, no disqualifications. They can use whatever they wore inside the ring. The winner, the last man in there, receives $25,000. As we're going to have action in every inch of the ring. Right now you're looking at Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer and Terry Taylor hooking up. You can see Terry Taylor wore that leather weightlifting belt into the ring. I'm sure he has plans to use it before this battle royal is over. And you can't help but match notice the man in the football gear. That's none other than Steve Dr. Death Williams, as he's wore his Oklahoma uniform into the ring, as he plans to use that football gear to help him work his way to that $25,000. In every corner, we've got men battling it out. Remember, there's two ways of being eliminated in this dangerous battle royal. One is by being thrown over the top rope. The other is to be pinned. As we're looking at Ricky Gibson
And
working over at Eddie Hot Stuff Gilbert. So the superstar has been eliminated as the numbers start to dwindle. In this type battle royal, it doesn't take long to be eliminated because so many things can happen by so many men. And with so much riding on the line, these men are all out determined to win the battle royal because a lot's riding on it. Pride and reputation to say, hey, I was the toughest man of them all in a bunkhouse battle royal. Also, that check for $25,000 has a lot to do with it as well. So you see the Nightmare now working over Terry Taylor. And that belt coming into the picture is being thrown by Buzz Sawyer.
Ricky Gibson
as you start to see
eliminated.
the welts start to come up. And as we can hear the announcer letting the crowd know, a turn-away crowd at the Sam Houston Coliseum, a jam-packed sellout. Thousands of people were turned away that night as the Coliseum was sold out. And one reason was this match right here. You heard the announcer talking about Ricky Gibson being eliminated. Also in the ring, we've got people like Jake the Snake Roberts, the Fabulous Ones, Al Perez, Ted DiBiase is going to be a big favorite. We've already identified Terry Taylor and Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer. A lot riding on this. $25,000 and the reputation and the boasting rights to say I was the toughest man of them all. And Ted DiBiase, he's the man using that belt now. But he's also the man who just received that bobber behind the head by Steve Kern. Now you're looking at Rob Ricksteiner receiving the headbutt of Steve Dr. Death Williams. Dr. Death has a nickname for that football helmet. It's called Mr. Helmet. And you've seen him use it. You know why he wants the recognition of Mr. before it. He's driving the helmet into the back of Steve Kern, as we are now down to roughly 10 wrestlers. 10 wrestlers left in the ring to battle for $25,000. You can see the referee. He's smart enough not to be inside the ring. He is outside the ring. The only time you see him step inside the ropes is to try to administer a pinfall, but he is more concerned with watching to see who is eliminated over the top rope. In the background, DiBiase's taking a chunk out of Mad Dog's head, and following up the attack is Terry Taylor. As now Dr. Death working over Dickie Slater. We failed to mention Dickie Slater, and you better not fail to mention him because he is one of the top favorites to win this event. There's not too many wrestlers, if there's any wrestler, who's tougher and rougher than Dick Slater. But Jake the Snake Roberts is working over Dick Slater in the middle of the ring. And in the left-hand corner, you see Terry Taylor working over Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer. In the far left corner, you got Ted DiBiase and Steve Kern. Now you've got Dr. Death making his way to that corner. He almost hit his tag team partner, Ted DiBiase, because when you get into that type of mood where you're fighting every man in sight, Ted DiBiase and Steve Dr. Death Williams are one of the several wrestlers who have an inside track because they are tag team partners. As they have mentioned going into this battle royal, they are out to win it as a team. So is the Fabulous Ones, Stan Lane and Steve Kern. They have that distinct advantage too, that they feel that the odds are better if the two of them work together to eliminate the other 20 wrestlers. So now we're starting to see more use of the belts, more use of the fists, as the wrestlers starting to resort to other means of trying to get the other men out of the ring. You can either pin them or throw them over the top rope, but you've got to eliminate them. And now Dickie Slater and Ted DiBiase hooking it up. And Jake the Snake is behind Slater. We've got Rick Steiner holding that belt as he threatens to hit Dr. Death. So there's a good shot of the cat fight that's going on between Slater and Ted DiBiase. And in the background, you saw Terry Taylor go crashing to the floor.
Terry Taylor!
And he is eliminated. So now into the ring comes Chavo Guerrero. Now Chavo Guerrero was not one of the original wrestlers. He was entered into the bunkhouse battle royal, but you can see by the bandage on his head, he had just finished a match. He was not able to be there for the bell. He brought in a stick, and he may regret the fact that he introduced a stick into his bunkhouse battle royal. That's one of the dangerous aspects of this battle royal, is that you may be able to bring in something or wear something, but you've got to make sure it's not taken from you and used against you. So it looks like we've got Jake the Snake Roberts has been eliminated. As with the entrance of Chavo, it looks like we're down to roughly 8 wrestlers. 8 wrestlers still in the running for the $25,000. A sellout crowd in the Coliseum. They're watching as the action continues to bust loose, as they watch some of their favorites already eliminated, as they also now start to throw their support with a few remaining favorites that they see in the ring. Slater using that stick. Going down to the mat is Al Perez. Now we've got a stick against a chair, but Steve Kern prevents that confrontation from taking place. That's Dr. Death, and I mentioned before, this is going to be one of the most unusual matches you ever saw. It's also one of the most dangerous matches for professional wrestlers. It's one reason you don't see this type battle royal too often. So we've got Stan Lane in there. We've got Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer. We have Steve Dr. Williams. We have Ted DiBiase. We have Dick Slater. And the other half of the fabulous one, Steve Kern. That's Dr. Death, who, football equipment or not, he wasn't able to stop that thrust by Slater. Look at the look, please look on Dickie Slater's face as he sent the All-American Dr. Death down on the mat. DiBiase now and Slater fighting over that stick. Is the Mad Dog lining up Dr. Death, rears back that chair, and that helmet has come in handy. Chavo Guerrero has been eliminated. So we've got Dickie Slater in the ring, we've got Steve Dr. Death Williams, we've got Buzz Sawyer, we've got the fabulous one still in there, and we've got Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer frustrated now that he wasn't able to stop the continued charge of Dr. Death. Outside the ring, we have Ted DiBiase and Dick Slater. They are both still in the battle royal. And Dr. Death now pounding on the Mad Dog. Now Steve Kern inching up. Those are the fabulous ones. And that chair catches the back of Dr. Death. It's slowed them down now as Stan Lane and Steve Kern, the fabulous ones, try their luck in defeating Dr. Death. The helmet pops loose, and that's bad news for Dr. Death, because that was one of the things that was able to protect him from that use of the chair by the fabulous one. Now that's Steve Kern, and Kern crashes that metal chair across the head of Dr. Death. Up in the ring, we have 4 men. Dickie Slater and Ted DiBiase are outside the ring. They are still officially involved in this bunkhouse battle royal. No disqualification. Anything goes, as they've got the Mad Dog's chain. They've got Dr. Death lined up. They send him, and then Dr. Death was able to stop that chain from coming across his neck, and that the weight of that chain crashed the fabulous ones. Ted DiBiase has the stick. He's taking care of business against Dickie Slater. Dr. Death is taking care of business against Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer. As the fabulous ones look on, they see DiBiase with that stick. They see Dr. Death with that chain. And the 4 men scooted outside the ring. Now, they have not been officially eliminated, but who is brave enough or crazy enough to get into the ring with Steve Dr. Williams swinging that chain? You can see Dr. Death. He smells $25,000. He sees his partner, Ted DiBiase, as Ted DiBiase's been egging him on with that stick. As Dr. Death and Ted DiBiase daring any of the remaining contestants to come back in the ring and battle for the $25,000. We've got the referees conferring. Ted DiBiase's in the ring. He's ready to battle. Steve Dr. Death Williams is in the ring. He's ready to battle. They are anxious to continue this bunkhouse battle royal. Their teamwork has seemed to be paying off as they are 2 against 4. Mad Dog making his way in the backside, trying to sneak up on DiBiase and Dr. Death. But even the Mad Dog, who there could be a great debate on exactly where he stands on the sanity level, I believe even the Mad Dog has enough common sense than to get into the ring with Ted DiBiase, Steve Dr. Death Williams. There's a hookup with the chain as Dr. Death is encouraging him to come on in. Good shot as the Mad Dog debating the question, should he get back in the ring and continue the fight? Maybe logic won out. But Dr. Death Williams and Ted DiBiase have won the historic $25,000 bunkhouse battle royal right here in the Sam Houston Coliseum. Both men are $12,500 richer as they proved that they were the toughest men of them all that particular night at the Coliseum.
Introducing first, the challenger from Atlanta, Georgia, weighing in at 253 pounds, the man with the DDT, Jake the Snake Roberts. And his opponent, accompanied to the ring by the lovely Dark Journey from Tampa, Florida, at 241 pounds, the reigning North American heavyweight champion, Dick Slater. 1 fall, 1 hour time limit for the North American Heavyweight Championship.
Bruce Thorpe and his sellout crowd, 10,000 strong. Thousands were turned away here in the Sam Houston Coliseum. And one of the reasons we have a sellout crowd here tonight is this match you're about to see. For the North American Heavyweight title, 60-minute time limit. And it should be a great one. Jake the Snake is a man who can upend the champion. The bell sounds and this North American Heavyweight Championship match is underway. A sellout crowd of 10,000 strong here in the Coliseum. A turnaway crowd. And Jake the Snake Roberts will be battling the controversial, the arrogant North American Heavyweight Champion, Dick Slater. The belt is on the line. Your referee for this match is Tommy Gilbert. My name is Peter Burkholz, and this should be a great showdown. Remember, Jake the Snake is a man with a DDT, the man who has captured the hearts of Houston wrestling fans as well as Mid-South wrestling fans. And Dick Slater, we warned you of his reputation. He's arrogant, he's cocky, but he is tough, and he's good enough to be the North American Heavyweight Champion. But that may change during this match. Crushed on and slammed by the Snake. Jake the Snake is a big wrestler, and he moves quick. Dickie Slater is the type champion that can wrestle you both ways. He can mix it up with you if you want to do it roughhouse style, or he can out-wrestle you if you want to get down to basic wrestling. That's one reason he's going to be a tough champion to beat. And that's Dark Journey, the woman, excuse me. It's hard to take a look at Dark Journey and get confused, and that was my mistake. Dark Journey, she's a woman, and she's the one that goes to the corner of Dick Slater. She's just as controversial as Dick Slater, but up in the ring we've got a give and take, and you see who's doing the giving and who's doing the taking. Jake the Snake went for it. He went for the DDT, and we almost had the match. We almost had a new North American champion. Look at Dick Slater. He knows it. You can bet that heart of his is pounding. DDT, DDT, echoes throughout this sold-out Coliseum, 10,000 strong. We want to thank you, Houston, for again supporting us on this Fan Appreciation Night. And as Jay goes for the DDT again, Slater just a little bit too quick. DDT is that maneuver that Jake the Snake uses when he drives his opponent's head and face right into the mat with the force of both men's weight and then some. And when he lands a DDT, they don't come back for a long, long time. Jake the Snake is a man who people point to just one split second, and he can beat the North American Heavyweight Champion and one beat World Champion. And as Jake the Snake now, using an arm twist, wraps up that left arm of the champion. shot at Dark Journey, and she's shown some concern. And she should, because she knows the reputation and the capability of the DDT when administered by Jake the Snake. Again, he put that driving knee into the shoulder of Slater. And now as there's a conversation going on before Dark Journey and Jake the Snake, Jake better be careful, because that's how Dark Journey earns her keep sometimes, is to be able to distract Slater's opponents, and that vicious chop, one right after another. Jake holding on, but now he comes back. Again, it's a give and take. Again, it's Slater who ends up taking and up and over the top rope. An atomic drop sent him over the top rope. Slater immediately wants a disqualification. Dark Journey is claiming the same protest, and Jake the Snake has slithered outside as he wants to deny Slater any chance of wrestling outside the ring. Now Jake aims with a knee, and he lands. Beautiful, the way he drove that knee into the kisser of this champion. DDT, DDT, 1,000 strong. Jake the Snake's Army standing on their feet, chanting. There we see posters in the side. 5 minutes have gone by in this North American Heavyweight title match between champion Dick Slater, who you see on your screen right now, and the challenger, the man with the DDT, Jake the Snake Roberts. A sold-out Coliseum, 10,000 strong, and one of the matches they came to see is the one you're watching right here. Jake looking out to the crowd. We see signs. We see his huge army signaling Jake number one with the finger pointing, signifying that in their hearts he's number one. They will love it if Jake the Snake can pull the upset and defeat Dick Slater for the North American Heavyweight title match. It's a one fall with a 60-minute time limit. And as Slater and Jake are maneuvering for position, Slater threw it in there. But look how quick Jake comes back, and he's caught by Gilbert. The referee trying to break him up, and Slater, with his years of ring experience, saw that opening, and he took full advantage of it. Slater pounds him with that fist of his. The referee warns him, but Slater is beyond the point of being warned. Slater knows he's going to battle for his life to hold on to that precious belt. One of the most prestigious belts in all of professional wrestling. 2 but no 3. Slater now covers him up. 2. A good shot. As you saw, Snake down to the mat. Now the chant. Go, Snake, go. Go, Snake, go. Go, Snake, go. These fans love Jake the Snake Roberts. They don't like Dick Slater, so you can see that it's a partisan crowd that's pulling for the Snake. Outside the ring, Slater looks like he's aiming. And he does. He comes across that boot before Jake can get into the ring. As we're seeing one demonstration after another of Slater's controversial style. He takes advantage of every rule and regulation. He takes advantage of the referee pushing him inch by inch. And if you give him an inch, he takes a mile. But he's up there as the North American champion, as he plans to be there for a long time, because that puts him in the status of a kingpin. But one of the problems of being a kingpin is that then everybody goes shooting for you. That's Jake, stretched across the metal ring barricade here at the Coliseum. Referee starts administering the count. Remember, the wrestler gets a 20 count. When he's on the floor, when he's on the ring apron, he only gets a 10 count. Slater now, using the Snake as a punching bag. Left jab, left jab. Now with a solid right. And Slater once again tries, he's using the rope. We saw it as it's Gilbert now, the referee, asked Slater about it. as Dick Slater's trying to find every advantage he can. Now as Jake sets him up, Slater reverses as he whipped Jake the Snake down to the mat. We've got Slater on top. We've got 2, but no 3. You can see some of Slater's quickness, but Jake's nickname, the Snake, one reason is the way he slithers around the ring, but he also has a way of striking very quickly. Pile driver. Look at the way Slater's